What's up, y'all? This is A2D Radio. We're vetted. Irving, Fryar, Big Dog, Hollis, Thomas. Listen, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like. I didn't know we live. Let's go.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the f*** are you talking about?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Big Dog, you're going to have to carry me today, bro. I'm tired.
That'll get you for trying to burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah. Trying to please
burn the
people
wick.
Sometimes we're out trying to please people, doing things for other people, and we're the ones who end up paying the price for it. So yeah, I had to cover for somebody last night that something last minute came up, and I went and tried to do the Good Samaritan thing, but I'm paying for it today because I had some stuff I had to do early today. Yeah, it was a lot. But we're here on Vetted, A2D Radio. My big dog Hollis. I'm Irving Fryar. We're here again for another, All Eagles Sports podcast. We in the house. Big dog, you got to read, don't you?
Damn, Skippy. As you saw, last week's show was at the Royal Billiards and Recreation. It's one of the coolest places for all of your game room and man cave needs. They have everything from pool tables, shuffleboard, card tables, billiard accessories, dart supplies, bars, and as you saw last week, me sitting on my throne, they have bar stools, and I call it, everybody else calls it a throne. It's just a regular seat for me, a regular comfortable seat for myself. And we forgot our swimsuits, so we didn't get in the hot tub. They have hot tubs, and also we have Marty. You guys got to meet Marty last week, and they also had food last week too, which was delicious. And I'd like to thank them for showing us quality hospitality out there at Royal Billiards at 515 Bethlehem Pike. Was that where it was?
Yeah, I guess 515. Yeah, I think that's where I drove to.
Is that where you drove to?
Yeah.
515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania, or go to royalbilliards.com. And they're celebrating 41 years of providing the people with some of the most ballerific ass man cave and recreational needs. So tell them that you heard this on A2D Radio and go to royalbilliards.com or go to Royal Billiards at 1515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania. Tell them the Tank sent you and take Marty some treats.
Take Marty some treats. Do you make those words up, man?
Marty,
ballerific?
No,
you make those words up? Are they in the dictionary?
They're not in the dictionary. I just put at the end of terrific. Take the rific off of.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's just stuff that we said back in the late 90s, early 2000s. As young folk.
I know what you mean. One of our other sponsors is Carlino's celebrating. Yes. Billiards is celebrating 41 years. Carlino's is celebrating 40 years. Owners Pat and Angela. They do a phenomenal job out there at County Line Road in Ardmore. We were there a couple of weeks ago during our podcast, A2D Radio, vetted live from Carlino's. Listen, they've got some great food. I mean, a variety. I can't even begin to describe how delicious the food was. And I brought a doggy bag home. I mean, all kinds of cold cuts, salads, warm food, spicy food, meats, cheeses, all it's just a great market. You got to visit Carlino's on City Line Road in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. They treat everybody like they're somebody. Not just us who feel like we're somebody, but they make you, if you don't feel like you're somebody, they make you feel like you're somebody. Carlino's, they do a great job. Go see them.
We back.
We're back. Okay, we got a lot of sponsors. We got a lot of commercials. Listen, our agree to disagree statement today. I want to start out with this.
So you finally gonna do it right? You're gonna do it the right way today.
Am I doing it the right way today? Well, I must do things right when I'm tired.
Well, no, the last time we were out at Royal Billiards, we get to the
We
question.
did it last.
Well, because we were so enamored by all the man cave stuff, and
All the toys,
you,
all the toys.
and you was like, oh man, I'm gonna get this desk. I want
Yeah.
So
They had a nice desk there. I'm going to get one built and put it here in my studio. But the agree to disagree, y'all come on in the room too. Come on in the chat. Let us know you're here. That's why we go live, so we can interact with you. Howie Roseman is the best general manager in the National Football League. Do you agree or do you disagree? Now, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, your answer would have been different. But now this cat, man, is making moves. He's been doing this like for the last 7 years, making moves during the season. That's just, I mean, taking this team to another level, and he keeps getting players from the Titans. Who does he know over there at the Titans? Who owes him at the Tennessee Titans? They keep giving us all pro type typical wide receivers and defensive backs, players that can come in here and help solidify this team, particularly now in an area where we were suspect.
We were suspect. That
was the weak link, or that's been the weak link the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, anytime that your second year undrafted free agent safety is the voice of reason, and when he goes down, like the first time he went down, he did play. I mean, you could tell the complete difference. And we traded Edmonds away.
Edmonds wasn't playing well. He wasn't playing
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
He was getting burnt.
Yeah, and I guess you base it off him being a first round draft pick for the Steelers and stuff. I was like, but when you look at the guy that they brought in there, Kevin Byard. Okay,
Byard.
Kevin Byard. He puts you in that same almost a same mindset that when we got CJ Johnson last year.
Right.
Like, so it's
now, and he's from Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Back there with Blankenship from Middle Tennessee State.
I didn't know Byard was from Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I just know him because he's of his playmaking ability, playmaking and hard hitting ability. He's most of the time he's on the field. I think that's the key thing too. You want somebody who's durable. And
he hasn't missed a game since he was drafted 2016. He hasn't missed a game. He led the league in interceptions, tied with someone else in 2017. But since he's been drafted by the Titans, he has not missed the game. So he's durable, he's tough, and this cat's versatile. I got some stats on him, which is, again, I keep wondering why
the Titans
gave AJ Brown to us.
I know. But you know, and see, this is the thing too, and I didn't learn this until when I was playing. The GMs and the people who evaluate these people, they don't ever want to be wrong. And so but with the AJ Brown trade, they thought the kid Treylon Burks was going to be the next AJ Brown, and he's done nothing. He's done nothing really. He's been hurt for the 2 years that he's been there, and we kind of won that trade. I want to know in the room, does anybody think that if I'm a GM and I look down and see 215-463-2500 Eagles, that's the Eagles. That's Eagles. That's their main.
Right. That's Eagles.
Whenever they call out, that's the number that should pop up on your phone, and it's just gonna say Philadelphia Eagles. If I'm a GM from another team, I was like, do I want to answer that? Because I'm not answering that. Because I'm gonna get fleeced. So
right. Right. Or you're helping a team. You're helping a team that's already a problem for everybody else. You're helping them get better. And now you're talking about a safety, an all-pro, 2-time first-team all-pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, a guy he's 30 years old. He's not washed up, but he's like in his prime. This cat is playing good ball. He's one of the better safeties in the league right now. And like I said, he hasn't missed any games. So it's not like he's been a liability. He's been an asset for the Titans down there. They were pretty tough for several years defensively. But in 2022, watch this. 2022, he's very versatile because he can play in the slot, he can play free safety, or he can play down in the box as a safety. In 2022, he played 201 snaps in the slot, 506 snaps at free safety, 393 snaps in 2022 at the box safety. This year so far, He's played 87 snaps with the Titans at the slot, 171 at the free safety position, and 192 or 129, I'm sorry, at the box safety. This cat is versatile. We can put him anywhere in that secondary, and he's going to lock it down. He's going to be, like I said, he's going to be a contribution to this defense.
Yeah, it's going to be an asset. It's kind of like this. It's like we always wanted to put pressure on the quarterback. But
Right.
when you put pressure on the quarterback, you got to have safety. That's how like Dawkins, who's going to be, but Dawkins is coming up later. But that's why when you look at the safety, he was one of the guys that helped change that position because he can't be running like a 4-3. You could put him on the slot. You put him down, he can cover receivers. He can cover and he can hit. That's what you're looking for out of the safeties nowadays. You don't want the long gone or the big guys the big safeties that run a 4-6 or a 4-5, and they hit machines over the middle. You can use them, but you use them at linebacker now.
They can't catch. You can't hit, but you can't catch.
I know, but you have to use them at linebacker now to check the tight ends. But even putting them there is almost a liability because most tight ends now are running like deer.
Right. And you know what? That just adds to what. And again, I am just thoroughly impressed with what Sean Desai did defensively with a banged up secondary, with these cheaters coming in town, running prior to coming to Philadelphia, were running up and down the field, 500 yards a game, averaging 37 points a game. They were just, I thought, were going to be a lot for us to handle. But whatever Sean Desai did, he shut them down. Obviously, it had a lot to do with how much pressure we were able to create on the front. With our front line.
I'm not gonna say I told you so because you were wavering. And
of course, no. I was wrong. I was wrong, and I was making my decision based on what happened the first 5 games, but then particularly what happened in the Jets game. I felt as though the Eagles had taken a step backwards in that Jets game. Yes, the Jets defense did play well, but there was no way in my mind that the Eagles should have lost to the Jets had they gone in there and played a half decent game. And I believe the game that they lost to the Jets was more of what the Eagles did not do than it was of what the Jets did do.
Now, the funny part is about, when you look at it, they were embarrassed by the Jets game.
Of course.
And you got a bunch of young guys who are conscious and they love football. It's like just being around there the little time that I do get to go around there, I can tell that they love football. They're always working on their craft. And I can't wait to see Nolan Smith playing more. I was like, but when you look at it, they were embarrassed at the game. At the game of the Jets game, at which they should have been. And so it's like, so I knew already knew them coming out, everybody was going to be ready because everybody was going to be. Dude, do you know that the Dolphins put out a rap video talking about how they was going on Rocky Steps. On the art museum set, put out a rap video talking about how they was coming here to kick our ass. But I
didn't see that. Had I known that, I would have picked the Eagles. So I would have been a little more sure that the Eagles were going to win that game.
Yeah, but I know we can talk about that on the other side. We have a video. The video package is coming up next of our next commercial. We got to pay some bills.
Let's pay some bills.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My Nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Carlinos.
Yes, deliciousness.
Yes, I know.
Deliciousness has
I'm
landed.
going to have to adopt that word. Just plain old deliciousness.
Deliciousness. Man, I went over there after our show too.
You after the Royal Billiards?
No,
You did. No, you did.
No. I went like after we did the show at Carlino's. I went back for more deliciousness. I had desserts this time.
You cheap, man. You cheap. So like I said, Sean Desai, again, I'm just hats off to him. I got to tip my hat because he awesome what he put together just to keep them at 17 points. The team came in there averaging 37 points a game. He is actually taking this defense. Last year, he's made this defense better than last year. Last year, I think the season they started off with 3 games. The first 3 games, they had 300 yards or more passed on them. The first 3 games last year. This year, it's only they're only averaging 230 with teams passing on them. Then last year, they were averaging at the beginning of the year, they have 121 yards were being rushed on them per game averaging. Now they shut it down to 55 to 60.
Yeah,
but Sean Desai is doing a great job.
Also, something the next time you're stat checking, check how many 12 and 13 play drives we have not given up this year.
Right.
We get the ball back to we get off on third down, off the field on third down now. That was the one thing that I kept preaching, and I won't bring up his name, but that was what I was preaching from last year. But when I saw what Buffalo did, you have to know this is a copycat league. Mm-hmm. So all Buffalo did was put somebody over the top, gave you a 2-shell. And once our front 7 or 6 handled the run when they were trying to run and get all cute and stuff, that we was destroying that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was but it was nothing that they could do against it. And that's what you have to do to a team with the cheetah and stuff. And I gave them the benefit of doubt, like they were going to keep up scoring with us, but that only because we had a few injuries in the secondary. But I didn't know that. I didn't know Big Play Slay and Bradbury was going to come back and play. And the underneath coverage and the 2-shell coverage is really what confused the Miami Dolphins. And that if you looked at Mike McDaniels was on sideline, he was confused as all get out because it was nothing.
He didn't look confident. He didn't look confident at all.
Well, because he probably came in the game plan looking at what we did in the previous games and looking at only looking at us running a lot of man coverage and different zone coverages, and he was looking to torch that. And you can see, I love the part where our defense didn't chase the bells and whistles. The bells and whistles is all that motion and all that shit. Right. Because when the dust settles, you're about to run the same damn play that you normally run, that we are bread and butter. And they did all the bells and whistles, and we lit their ass up.
Well, they kept the cheetah, and this was just, it's remarkable. I'm very, very impressed. I was there at the game, at least for the first half. I never stayed for the whole game because I can't deal with traffic and stuff. I'm getting old, man. But anyway, I can't deal with all that traffic. I'll have a nervous breakdown in all that traffic after the game. So I have to leave like third quarter and
middle of third quarter,
get up out of there. But yeah, they kept the cheetah. The cheetah came into that game, Tyreek Hill, he came into the game averaging 18, 19 yards per catch.
Per catch, yes.
They kept him, they held him to 8 yards per catch.
Yeah.
And again, it was with Band-Aids on the secondary. So the scheme, and a lot of it had to do with what we were able to do up front. We shut down the run because they were average, whatever the average was in the run, we shut it down. I mean, just totally, I think they got 45 yards total rushing offense in the whole game. 45 yards.
You know what the funniest thing was, and I was loving it. You remember the first plays that Lane went out last week against the Jets, and then you saw our offensive line getting maimed, and getting thrown around.
Yes.
Just go back and look at the first couple of plays of the Dolphins game, and look what number 98 is doing to that guard. it was downright brutal.
Brutal.
Oh man, it was felony offense.
Nah.
The local authorities should have been there to arrest him. Dude, it
really?
was just like, he pushed him on his back and kind of let it walk over him. And it was so, and it happened. So the thing was, it wasn't a slow thing. It happened so fast that Tua had to just throw the ball away. He was like, man.
Well, listen, the biggest difference, and I think people recognize this or know this, the biggest difference from last year to this year, particularly when it comes to stopping the run, is Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
that kid, man, is something
Like
else. I don't think people understand how much of a difference he has come in and made already as a rookie. He is, to me, in my opinion, and people were, arguably saying this when he was drafted or when he was in the draft, prior to the draft, that he was the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
That people were arguing whether he was or not. There's no argument. That kid he's come in and made a difference, and he's just scratching the surface. Can you imagine him 3-4 years from now? If, Lord willing, and he stays healthy. Can you imagine what a force? Forget Aaron Donald. Forget those cats. I mean, I'm talking Reggie White type of influence as a defensive lineman. That's the kind of play that I believe he's capable of growing into, developing into, and just making a difference and just messing up people's offenses by himself.
Well, yeah, I was privileged. I had the privy of, when they all get together and stuff, and a lot of the Georgia cats are on the team, and so they often talk football, and they talk about like different plays that he just busted up even in college. Right. I'm seeing it now. What they were speaking of, because they were just talking about like when teams were trying to double team him and he just destroyed it, and he does it effortlessly. And when they said it, I was like, yeah, okay. So, but then I'm seeing I saw in college that he was destroying those guys, but he's brought it to this level too, and I'm happy for the kid because he went through a lot to get here, especially with the off field transgressions.
Right.
But I'm glad that he's flourishing now, and he's in a good place, especially having a lot of his teammates here too as well.
Yeah, and I think people need to. I'm gonna get off on something else, but I think people need to stop judging people because everybody's guilty of something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, quick question. So during the game, you noticed that Jalen came back with a knee brace on.
Right.
Have you ever had to play with a knee injury of that magnitude? But I know you couldn't get hurt, and I've witnessed
I wasn't allowed to get hurt.
Yeah, and I was witness to you getting your toe injected. It was one of the most gruesome things that I've ever seen in my life, up close and personal. And I had not only newfound respect for you, but I got the same needle, but it was in my ankle. Yours was in your toe. I'm like, good God, man.
The big toe.
The big toe.
Big toe. One of the assistant trainers who was there, who witnessed that all year long, the whole season, he was at an event that I had to participate in last night. So we were talking about it. He was like, yeah. And I told him they misdiagnosed my toe. And he said, no, yeah, that probably happened. They probably misdiagnosed it because that's the kind of stuff that was going on back then.
Was it Tom Hunkley?
Hunkley, yes. Yes, that's who it was. Sure was.
He's back with the Eagles now because he was with the. They took him with them to the Vikings, and then he was in Cleveland, and now he's just back here. That's my guy.
Okay.
He used to have to do my rehab stuff when I had my injuries here.
Okay. Yeah, that was a messed up time. But no, I did get my knee twisted one time, doing something I had no business doing. Catching the ball. I ended up catching the ball, and I fell on my back, and my legs were up and they were bent. And one linebacker hit my hip, and another linebacker came the other way and hit my foot. So it took my leg from the knee and snapped it 90 degrees, but it snapped back. And I ended up actually just getting tape, but not wearing a knee brace for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. X-rays were negative, but I actually thought my career was over. That was like my 3rd or 4th year, man, because I'm on my back, and he pinned my hip, and the other guy came and hit my foot and just took it, and my knee just bent sideways. So I've never really had to other than that, and that was tough, trying to run routes with a sore knee. I think that game I may have not played the rest of the game, but it's tough anytime when you have to change direction, when you got to start and stop, like the quarterback does. He's not doing it full speed like a receiver does down the field, cutting 90 degrees, cutting 45 degrees, running almost full speed. He's, taking a couple steps back in his backdrop. But I don't know if it's left knee or if it's right knee. But I do know if it is his right knee, then obviously that's the one he's putting all the weight on when he's stopping his backdrop. But then if it's his left knee, then that's the one he's got to step into when he's throwing the ball. So either way, it's going to be a bothersome for him. And we don't know what degree of injury it is. We don't know how bad or how much. We know Jalen's a tough guy. We know Jalen is going to play with pain. He did that in the Miami game. It was very surprising to see him come back out with that knee brace on, because we didn't really see him lay on the ground. So obviously he got hurt either in that game or some other time. He said it didn't happen in the game. I don't know if that's true or not, but I saw him a couple of times. I'll go back and watch the film. You see him a couple of times, kind of a little gimpy, laying on the field a little bit longer. So either he re-injured it in that game against Miami, or it's something that happened prior to that, but it was bad enough. You can't tell me it's not bad. It was bad enough for him to have a knee brace when he came back.
He wanted the support. And speaking of support, you know what time it is. We got
another pay the bills commercial. Yes. Let's pay the bills, Ralph. Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, we're back. More talk on the Eagles. We've been talking about, what happened in this game. Very impressive win over the actually predicted they would win that game, and I was doing it hesitantly, but I predicted that they would win that game 30. I think I said 37-17. But they won 31. And that's another thing. They went out and put up 31 points, one of the better games offensively that the Eagles have produced this year. So
against the quality defense.
Yeah, it's against the quality defense. So in my opinion, to me, and I always say that because my word is not necessarily etched in stone, but my opinion as a former player of 17 years, who knows a little bit about football, the Eagles right now are the best team in the league. They're the best team in the league.
That victory right there was a quality statement. Victory
of course, because you got some of the other teams like the Bills. I don't know what's happening to the Bills. Yeah, they 49ers got defeated by the Vikings. They got Purdy. Purdy kind of started. Yeah. He looked a little bit, but he had a concussion. But he struggled in that game, threw two interceptions. One was after he got concussed.
Not to say anything, but if you know you can cuss, sit your ass down.
They stopped throwing interceptions.
It's like because you what you put on
hurting the team.
It's like what I learned as a pro is nobody's going to care that you were hurt when it's time for that next contract.
That's right. No,
you went out there. You went out there under your own fruition.
Yep. So again, particularly when you're the quarterback.
Yes.
And then the Lions got destroyed by the Ravens. Jared Goff.
That's what I was about to say. It was two statement games over the weekend.
Yes.
That one because they beat what everybody was calling the cream of the crop of the NFC.
That's why I brought them up.
Yeah, the one thing that nobody even thought about going into that game because a lot of people had the Lions pick to win.
Right.
That kid, Lamar Jackson was 15-1 versus the NFC.
He was dropping dimes too, baby. He was dropping dimes.
He's 15-1 versus the NFC.
Right,
now 16-1. It's like, so when he plays against NFC teams, you don't really see him like the other teams see him all the time. So it's cool. It's kind of like being trained for combat.
Mm-hmm. and teams don't prepare. Teams don't seem to prepare or to care as much or be as concerned as much with his passing as they do with him running. He can throw. He has a weird release and all, but he can throw the ball. He's above average when it comes
accurate.
to throwing the ball.
He's accurate.
Right. And he dropped some dimes. He dropped some dimes on those Lions.
He's one of 3 MVPs that are currently in the NFL.
Right. So,
and it's only 2 playing. 1 is hurt.
Right, and then
Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. Right now,
and with the defeat of the Dolphins, the Eagles just took a big leap. Forget about the defeat that they experienced the week before with the Jets. Like I said, I think that was more how bad the Eagles played than it was how good the Jets played. But to put that behind them and to step up to the bat with a team that was coming in that most predicted they would not be able to handle that speed, most predicted they would not be able to keep up with their scoring, shut them down with 17 points and put 31 on their behind. So the Eagles are the team right now. Now they've got to maintain that. But Sean Desai just got another toy he can play with in Bayard. He's got another toy that he can put, and he's been doing a phenomenal job. Hats off to him, like I said, with what he's had. They've had multiple different starters back there, different settings during the season so far.
But peep this. Nobody paid attention to this last game. Last game in the secondary, we were already playing with Bricks as the backup. We lost him during the game. We lost Roby during the game.
Yep.
We lost Blankenship during the game. I was like, oh my God, Job. It's like nothing wrong with Job out there playing, but you got to remember he's on all of the special teams.
Yeah. Plus he wasn't playing that well. Every time you turn around, he was trying to catch up to somebody.
Yeah, but you add with them not normally not playing that amount of defensive snaps. He's prone to mostly special teams, and everybody's hurt, so nobody can really go in there and spell them. It's like when the special teams come up with punt team, punt return, kickoff return, all those teams. When they're called, he's got to go. But not only that, he's got to still play on defense. Even though he's a young fellow, that's a lot to ask. It's the one thing that's a lot to ask of one person, because I've seen it done. Only seen it done in preseason with those last 2 games when those guys can't come out. Dude, that is a lot of football.
But you know what? Sometimes that happens, and sometimes it's not something that's it's a situational occurrence where somebody goes down or 2 people go down and you find yourself in the middle of the game. Yeah, you're doing special teams, but now you got to play all the defensive snaps. So it's not something that's going to happen game in and game out. But when it does happen, you gotta do your part. You gotta carry the load and suck it up and do what you have to do. I don't care if the amount of plays you're playing has increased. You got to play, and you got to play at a high level, because like you said, everybody sees the film. Yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares when they're watching the film. They don't care because somebody got hurt. Now you have to play all the defensive snaps. Nobody cares. What they care about is you got burnt by that wide receiver. You got beaten. You gave up 2 touchdowns.
And not only that, you didn't seize the moment. Because
exactly.
You're always an ankle twist away from being the starter. And it's and it brought me back to when I was playing for the Saints. And crap happened to me. The backup nose guard went down like a ton of bricks. I literally had to play the whole game. And the coach came up. The coach came up to me because normally I was just playing first and second down, and then I would come out on third down. Mm-hmm. And so the coach came up to me and said, "I know you're professional, and this is a dumb question, but do you know all of the nickel stuff that's in the package?" I was like, "Coach, I know the entire playbook." And I know we
finna put you out there.
Well, no, I already knew, because I saw when my boy went down. He went down like a ton of bricks. He had a groin injury in warm up though.
he injured himself in warm up. I never understood that, how guys go out in warm ups and injure themselves in warm ups.
It was a groin injury, and you could tell when he slipped. We was at in Chicago. Their surface was horrible.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, don't go out there with some 7 studs. I went out there with the wet rats on, and I was just fine. But I proceeded to have 11 tackles that game.
But again, he's stupid enough to go out with his 7 studs on when he knows it's wet outside. You know.
Well, when I told him what to do, we big dogs. We supposed to hang together. And he goes out there, he was sliding.
Because he was stupid out there sliding and gliding. The first time he slid, he should have known to take those shoes off and put something that was going to have some grip.
The first time, no. The first time he slid, that was it. No.
That was it. It was too late. It was over.
He hit a split. Big dogs don't hit splits. I was like, oh man, that looks
You
bad.
can't do a split, big dog. You can't do a split.
Hell no.
No. Come on, man. You're not maximizing your sexy, bro.
I maximize my sexy. I stretch my muscles just like everybody else. But I have testicles. I don't
That don't mean you can't do a split.
Yes, it does. Yeah, that's like I can stretch, but that's about it. I was like, you ever?
So you see a man that does a split, a gymnast who does a split. He don't have any testicles.
Okay, so when you see that, when you see somebody get stretched out like that, the first thing you do as a man is like, oh, you reach for your package because you know that ain't that's not natural.
So talk to me, man. Tell me what you think about this game with Washington this weekend. We know Washington, it was it was a possibility that Washington could have won that game.
Yes, they
had Rivera gone for 2 points and gotten it, the game would have been over. They took the Eagles to overtime, and the Eagles won by 3, 34-31.
Mm-hmm.
They're the first team. Well, actually, they're the team that scored the most points on the Eagles.
On the defense.
And again, it was at a time when the week before the Commanders had played the Bills.
Right.
Howell had been tackled or sacked, I should say. He was sacked 8 times and 4 interceptions. And then they come back and they put this nice package together. Bieniemy and how he controls the ball. He didn't throw any interceptions, didn't throw for a whole bunch of yards, but he did spread the ball around, and he played within the game plan and played well enough to win that game. They didn't, but here they are again. They got sacked. Howell got sacked 6 times last
he's
week.
He's on his way to be the most
sacked quarterback the sack record,
which is held by David Carr.
Right, he's on pace to beat it.
Yeah, to beat it. Yeah, so and he got sacked a lot last week too. And some of it was holding on to the ball, and some of it was the offensive line. But I feel like they're in turmoil because I don't know if you saw any interview with the young man at the end of the game using a bunch of profanity.
Yep. I've been here 7 years, the same old. Yeah.
I was like, you've been there 7 years, but they paid you $100 million, so you may be part of the problem. I was like, I don't often bring up how much you make, but when you start bitching and moaning like that in front of the cameras, outside of that's supposed to be kept in house amongst the people, amongst your brethren, because you still have to go to battle with those guys.
Right.
And it's like when you start talking about we've been losing for 7 years, it's like I was like, yeah, but it ain't, but even still, they only gave up 14 points. But Wink Martindale,
they only scored 7 though. They only scored 7.
They gave up 14 points, and Wink Martindale put the heads and bag on them. It was some exotic stuff Wink was doing, and I was enjoying every moment of it. But I think Sean Desai knows now what to do to confuse Howell, because he's been in a bit of disarray since their game against us. They've been sticking up the joint. So. And then, one of the things. My bad. Then hear one of their leaders lose it like that in an interview at the end of the game. Right. Yeah, and then they talk about firing Riverboat. So,
and when you lose it like that, you open yourself up to criticism. You got to keep that, like you said, keep that stuff in house. But when you look at the game, you wonder, how is it that the Washington Commanders were able to not control the game, but make the game close like it was and have an opportunity to win the game at the end of the game. They didn't go for 2. They kicked a field goal, decided to go that way, but weren't able to stop the Eagles. The Eagles went down and scored 3 points, so the game was over. But they had a chance, and you wonder why they were able to make it such a game. Well, they kind of handled we haven't been running the ball well like we were the first few games. These last 3 games have not been very successful on the ground for us. I mean, we did enough, obviously, to win the game this past week with the Dolphins, but we haven't busted, big runs.
No, but Irv, it's like in order to see because they were the Dolphins were down in their secondary as well. I was like, but when you look at it, we want to take advantage of that. But the way you take advantage of that is to actually run the ball and show them that you're going to run the ball.
No, we still ran it. We just didn't get a lot of yards. That's all.
That's all. But
I know it doesn't make a difference. You still need to run the ball whether you're getting yards or not. You can't abandon the run. You still have to run the ball to make them respect the fact that you're going to run the ball. And that helps to set up your play action and everything else with your passing game.
Yeah, but the main thing with that, before we let Dawk in here, is the fact to slow down the pass rush. Because if they don't think you're gonna run, that pass rush is coming like you just lit a match and threw it in gasoline.
Well, we got to get third downs. Last time we were 4 for 12 on third downs against Washington. That was one of the problems. Y'all, guess what? You've been waiting for this.
Yes.
It's time for Dawk Talk. Stay tuned for Dawk Talk, featuring Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins. Brought to you by Royal Billiard Recreation, Carlino's Italian Market, and Philly Sports Trips. There he is. He's in the
house. What's happening, good people? What's happening?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. Doing well. I hear your chat. I hear your chat going on.
Are we chatting or are we babbling?
A little bit of both at times.
Yeah.
It's flowing. We flowing. Y'all flowing. So just talking about the Washington Commanders, right? Obviously this is this week, and so the whole thing, and I'll jump straight into what I'm going to talk about because it really aligns what you guys are talking about when it comes to Washington. So last week we talked about like being able to control
yourself. Yeah, we did. Right. Okay. So control yourself because what AJ Brown did,
right?
To put that, yeah.
Right. So and so control has to do with being disciplined, being able to control and harness something and use it in a better way. Right. So I saw that this past weekend. I don't know if you know the play that I'm talking about. So Hurts with a fantastic throw, he had pressure in his face and he put the ball right on the money. And we caught it in between traffic.
Yes.
AJ Brown.
He beasted the DB just like he did the week before. But this time it looked like he was about
he kept
on going. So he let the play speak loud and he went and celebrated with the crowd, right? So to me, that's growth.
Right.
So I applaud that, right? So that you've been able to harness that thing, that fight, that desire, that drive, and all those things. So the other thing I'll talk about when it comes to the game is being able to see something in the first half and take advantage of it later on. In the first half, there was a play that happened in a zone coverage, and big play, as he likes to be called. He had his eyes on the short route. And the receivers did a horrible job of spacing.
Right.
And the ball was caught right behind him. And I believe it was for a first down.
Right. Yeah.
Later on in the game, again, they had bad spacing on the route. And it was actually in a double move this time. And he actually then got his head back and found the football. And because they had bad spacing, he was able to pick the ball that the linebacker had gotten beat. And he was able to, end a drive for the Dolphins. So again, in the midst of the season and in the midst of games, you have to then correct mistakes that are made. And I saw that in this team, and you see that in this team. So what I see is a team growing. I see a team growing into themselves and what they can potentially be. And then they're sturdily adding on more talent. Bird coming in, like I love it. Like,
yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people where he's up there in age, and why do they get rid of it?
No,
he's
30 years old. He's mature. He's mature.
Yeah. He's mature. Yeah. And you know, just like I know, when you step into a building that a lot is expected of the team and they're playing at a high level, it automatically begins to rise something inside of you. Something that your best begin to want to come back to the front, right? So I can't wait to see how quickly he gels and learns the playbook so that he can get back there and do his thing as well.
He's gonna play even better than he's been doing down there with the Titans because he's on a better team. He's got better talent around him. And like you said, I know how could you not be excited going from the Titans? Now I'm on a team that didn't even have a chance to get to the playoffs. Now I'm traded to a team. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're the best team in the league right now.
I got a quick one for you guys. Tell me what you think about this. I started following him immediately once he came here. One of his first tweets was when he woke up this morning. He's like, "Damn, it feels good to be 6-1, to wake up 6-1." I already know now that cat is going to come in here, and it's just like what Dawk said. He's going to elevate his play. It's like when you're around a bunch of winners, you have to elevate your play. You have. And that's the competitor, and everybody who plays this game. It's like when you playing and you're the only horse out there. It's like you feel like you got to put the world on your shoulder. You still got to play injured and stuff. But when you come and it's some other horses around you, it's like, oh yeah, I'm amongst real company now. My level of company. So
and it's time to eat. A couple more things when it comes to him. He's coming back home to Philadelphia.
Yes. Right.
He's from that place. He's from the area. And then when it comes to when you have they have playmakers in the room, right? I've always been of the opinion for myself that if I have someone in the room that's balling, I gotta get him. Like it's a friendly competition. Seriously,
that's right. It's a team competition. Yeah,
absolutely. So just back in the day when it was Troy, Troy you got 2 picks. Oh yeah, I gotta come. Yeah,
gotta get one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's that type of camaraderie as well, like that friendly competition in the room amongst each other, right? That brings out the best in one another.
Right.
So I can't wait to see how quickly he brings what he is to that secondary.
I want to see him and Blankenship back there together.
Yeah, because
they're both Middle Tennessee State, and he can play free. He can play in the box. He can play in the slot. He's done that all over the place while he was down in Tennessee. So he's very versatile. So man, I can't wait to see them. But back to what you said, Big Dog. You said he woke up and said, "Man, it's good to be 6-1.
Wake up 6-1. Hey,
here you go. What a difference
yes.
a day makes.
One day.
How quickly God can turn situation around.
One day, right?
It was
by this time tomorrow.
That's that suddenly.
Yes.
No, we was talking earlier in the show about the way that they could use him because they called him a hybrid. And some people were saying Malcolm Jenkins. I told him he put me close to a mindset of the way that Jim used to use you, and it was like he was over the slot. I was just looking at a highlight the other day when remember we was down there. We played Miami, the Dolphins, in Miami. Yep. And I don't know if that was your first pick six when we was in it. I want to say it was either our first or our second year, but you came to pick six because you was covering the slot. And the funniest thing to me, I don't know if you even remember this. Irv, you were there too.
Was I there?
I don't know. We played the Dolphins. Was he there?
When we played the Dolphins, we were at home when I played the Dolphins.
Yeah, you weren't there because this was when Jim was there. Damn, no, we were trying to kick a field goal, and our kicker didn't know. It was Norm Johnson. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
He got out there all late and missed the kick. That's how we lost the game.
I remember that.
But it was like I was telling them about the way that he used to use you, in all different facets, and your speed and your ability to cover the slot, and not only when your safety is a Swiss Army knife, dude. There's so much things you can do defensively that makes you so much better.
And that's the thing.
Good.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. And Tank, I talk about that as a chess piece, right? So that's a chess piece player. When you have a chess piece player, see, the checkers, you can only move from one space to the next. Certain pieces in chess, you can move all over the doggone board.
Right.
So they have two individuals. But actually, I love. I haven't seen a whole lot of them, and he hadn't played a whole lot. He's still young, but they talk about the rookie being the same way, right?
Which
being
one?
that a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, well, he can play inside and outside. Yeah, he's a man amongst boys. I seen him in some one-on-one pass rush stuff. It was ugly.
Right. So the point is that we have a defensive coordinator now, though. This is the key, though. You have a defensive coordinator now that hopefully will allow those individuals who have these different talents to be used at some point. So now the offenses have so many different things to think about when they're playing against this team, because you have so many people across the board. Front seven, you got chess pieces, right? You got a couple of specific chess pieces, linebackers making plays, and then you have in the secondary, you have chess pieces back there as well. So again, they can come at you in any different direction, and they've already doing a fantastic job against the Dolphins, keeping them to 40-something yards rushing or something like that.
Yeah, 45 yards.
The way they did that, I don't know if you was paying attention. They were running a bit of a bear front. They had the three defensive tackles down there, and our defensive tackles were kicking their three interior guys around, and that was one of the things that Jim used to do as well. He would find the pigeon. Find the weakest link, and the weakest link at that point for them was the interior guys, because the other guys were hurt. It was so bad that they hurt. I'm looking at it now. They hurt another guy on their offensive line, and when you have like a kid like Nolan Smith, I can't wait to see that kid get more playing time. I was like, because I don't know if you've had a chance, opportunity to talk to him and sit with him a little bit, but he just like thirsts for knowledge. He's all about football. You have to have people like, we love football. That's what we film study everything, trying to figure out how to break your opponent down. I was like, sometimes people don't understand that. Sometimes people just look for what I call, I don't know if you remember this. We had a thing on the defensive line when we were there. Me and truck driver was power, and Corey Simon and Darren Walker was glory. Yeah, because after all the dirty work is done,
they came in and got the
and so you got to know, at some point you have to know your role. But it's like some people just want the glory and don't want to go through all the grunt work to get to the glory. So
but now
B-Dog, we don't want to keep holding you, man. But I want to ask you, because I was concerned before the game, but when the game ended, I was
concerned. He jumped up at Royal Billiards.
You know what?
You did.
Hush,
you did.
Dog. All right, that's okay. I'm older than you. You got to respect the elder.
Okay, I got you.
So I was really impressed. I was worried before the game. I was concerned that we weren't going to be able to keep up with those cats on the offensive side of the ball over there from Miami. But somehow, some way, Sean decides game plan, and those defensive backs were able to corral them, even keep the cheetah down to 8 yards a catch. He was coming into the game averaging 18, 19 yards a catch. How impressed were you by that, and what did you see happening there in the defensive backfield?
So when you have that much speed on the field, Irv, two things. First of all, in those, and Tank, you know what I'm talking about. In those weeks, Jim would literally tell the front seven, y'all got to run. Like, y'all have to run. Y'all gonna have to do what you need to do up front, right? Because we're gonna be playing more two deep shell. We're gonna, we're not gonna give up the deep ball, right? So we're gonna y'all have to win y'all battles up front. So he did a great job of going to that. You're talking about the bear front, right? Mixing it up a little bit. So when you have a team with all that speed, power, physicality is what penetration. It kills all of that. It kills all of that. So they weren't able to get their running game, their finesse running game going because of the power up front. And then that put the game into his hand, and that's not his thing. Like he can't just sit back there and pick you apart that way, right? And again, you're not allowing those speed to get deep routes, right? They're going to catch some things. You're going to give up some yards, but you're not giving up the big play. But again, the ultimate for me was, I'm pretty sure that they talked at the defensive front. Y'all have to run this week.
Yep.
It's y'all job, front linebackers. Y'all have to run this week.
Yeah,
and that's what they did. That's what they did, man. They controlled it up front.
But that's what, and I don't know if Doc remember too when he told us that he always would tell us that I got the run this week. He said, "I'm gonna give you some things to cut up the run." But he would give us some stuff that we would pick on the what I like to call the pigeon. We would pick on the pigeon, and we would try to get pressure in his face right away because Jim's main thing was you don't want to leave hang the secondary out to dry.
Yeah,
it's like we in this together. They don't need to be out there covering for that long. So win. That's why what did I tell you last week? He was talking about he's getting rid of that ball quick. I said in our meeting room when we're watching film and you're rushing, Tommy Brazier would be up there with a stopwatch, and if you get 1/1000, you lost. You lost 1/1000 because he was talking about he gets rid of the ball the fastest in NFL 2-point-something second. I was like he's sacked by that time. I was like
that's it. That's if you get your job done.
Yeah, that's what
you got to get the job done. Yeah, got to get the job done. All right, B-Dog.
And then the last thing, thing is that when you have Tua is not 6'4", he's not 6'5". Right. So when you get that immediate pressure in his face, he has to try to then find lanes to throw in, right? He can't see necessarily the huge, maybe there's some gashing holes or some separation that the receiver could get in the secondary, but sometimes they can't find that. Why? Because the defensive front so tall getting in his face, eliminating that part of his game.
Yes.
Yep. That's some good stuff, man. That's some good stuff. We love it when we have you on the show, bro.
Well, wait a minute. When I told you that stuff, you still was scared. You just need
listen. I see you. It's like we're in a relationship here. You got to understand. I see you every day, so it's like a kid, with parents. You see, you can say it, but when somebody else comes in and says the same thing, then all of a sudden the light comes on.
The light comes on.
Yeah.
So
the light came on. Okay. But I understood what you were saying last week, but I was still concerned because of what happened the prior week. I felt as though, based on what I saw, I felt as though the Eagles had taken a step backwards. Their momentum had shifted because of what happened with the Jets and how they played. Because when they lost to the Jets, in my opinion, it wasn't because of how well the Jets played. They lost to the Jets because of how well the Eagles didn't play. So I'm like, okay, now they got this team. They got to play better than they played all season to beat this team. And they did. But I thought that would be a large hill to climb, a steep hill to climn. But they did. I'm totally impressed. I'm totally impressed with last week.
Here's the thing when it comes to that. Sometimes last week is needed.
Right.
Yep. Oh, it was a necessary loss for sure. It woke them up. Team meeting and all.
Yeah. Sometimes the embarrassment of last week is needed. I'll just leave it right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was telling them about when we played the Raiders that one time after we finally beat the Giants, and they throttled us. So, Charlie,
B-Dog, thanks, man.
Thanks,
Dog. We'll see you in a couple weeks with Dawk Talk. All right, brother. God bless.
All right. Later.
Listen, y'all, Dawk Talk was brought to you, sponsored by Carlino's, Royal Billiards and Recreation, and Philly Sports Trips.
We got my This Day in History coming up.
I got to do my next read. I got one more read.
Do your next read then.
Here you go, everybody. In 2018, the Eagles legend Brian Dawkins, who was just with us on Dawk Talk, was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Dawk designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Billiard Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker on hats.com. Brian's love for hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton. Yes, they were. And now you can find yourself in that same iconic hat, Hall of Fame hat, fedora. Yeah, it's a fedora. Yep. Just go to hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com. All right.
Nice.
Now
I'm one of those. Now I can do
we got some history with Hollis.
Yes, today, This Day in History is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com for all your Eagles road trip and tailgating needs. Click the tailgate. When you go there, you click the tailgating app and come to all the ballerific ass tailgates that we have. We have one every home game, and we do all of the away trips. Today is October the 26th.
26.
Yep, 2023. This is the 299th day of the year. There's 66 of these suckers remaining. Today's national holiday. Yes, we get close. Today's national holidays is actually where is that? Today, day of the deployed. Thank our troops for fighting for us. The day of the deployed. It's also Minced Meat Day. Today is Purple Day. You should love today is Purple Day.
All right, purple. Where my purple at? I need some more. I got a purple mic. Yeah, purple. You all see that? Yeah.
Today is Pumpkin Day due to it being the month of Halloween. Texas Chicken Fried Steak Day. Is also Vote Early Day and Howl at the Moon Night.
Howl at the moon
night. Yes.
Like howl at the moon.
Howl at the moon night. Yes.
So we're supposed to go out at night and howl at the moon tonight.
Yeah, later tonight. Yeah. I guess.
Is there a specific time that we're supposed to howl?
No, when the moon comes out, I guess.
When the moon comes out.
I got some events here. In 1776, Benjamin Franklin. He left from over here to go get us some bread from France to help fight the American Revolution. Everybody thought he was crazy, but he went over there and spread his manly savoir-faire and brought us back some cheese. In 1858, we had the Hamilton Smith. He patented the rotary wash machine in Pittsburgh. The 1911 World Series was the Philadelphia A's. They throttled the then New York Giants 13-2 at Shrine Park. And to clinch the 4-2 series win and retain the championship. 1916, the American sex educator Marguerite Sanger, she was arrested for obscenity. Guess what her obscenity was? She was advocating birth control.
Advocating birth control. Wow.
Yeah, yes, I know. In 1940,
and they arrested her for that?
Yeah, did they ever?
Wow.
In 1949, Truman increases the then minimum wage of 40 cents to 75 cents. So that's for all y'all bitching today about what the minimum wage is. In 1954, Chevy unveils their first V8 engine. I love a V8 engine. In 1970, this was one I was going to run by you as well. As you were growing up as a kid, and you would see people with the newspaper as a kid, did you always want the funny papers to read the funnies?
The comics?
The comic section, yeah. Because Doonesbury comic strip, it came out in 1970 and it debuted in 28 different newspapers. I always read the comic strip because I wanted to be like the adults. Yeah, they wanted to be like adults, but I didn't know what they
You just wanted to read the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the adults, yeah.
In 1972, Edwin Land, he introduced the very first truly instant camera, the Polaroid SX70 in Miami, Florida. You remember the Polaroids, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You remember holding like hold like this, make sure
it come out the camera.
And in 1972, they started giving the National Park Association of Service of America started giving guided tours of the old prison Alcatraz in 1972. Wow. I got some birthdays here for you. One of the birthdays was C.W. Post in 1854. He had a bunch of breakfast cereals. He's a breakfast cereal Post, but he was accused of stealing some of Kellogg's recipes to make his cereal.
Don't mess with Kellogg's.
1919, we have Edward W. Brooke. You know who that was? The first African-American popular voter senator of Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Edward W. Brooke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1919. We have 1911. Yeah, I forgot Mahalia Jackson. Also, today is it's a 1941. Stephen Kellogg. He was a illustrator. He did things like Jack and the Beanstalk, an author and an illustrator. Jack and the Beanstalk, Three Little Pigs, and he did some of Mr. Rogers songs as well.
Get out of here.
1946, Pat Sajak. 1951, Bootsy Collins, burn me up, baby.
Bootsy.
Yeah.
We want Bootsy.
1962, what's his name? Not 62, 1973, Seth MacFarlane.
Wow.
In 1977, we have John Heder, who plays Napoleon Dynamite. You know that you remember Napoleon Dynamite?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know he has an identical twin, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes.
No.
Keith Sutherland has an identical twin sister. Man, she's not unsightly. But that's a whole other story. That's what I got for you in this day. This you, Hollis Thomas, brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com. Click the tailgating or the trip app. and tell them you heard it here on A2D Radio.
All right, give me your prediction. We're
prediction
going to
for
go
the
out
game?
with predictions this week. Yeah.
Okay, prediction this week. I think we throttle them this week. I think we lick our wounds and stuff, and especially from the last game, we're going to go over the film and look at what we did wrong last game, and we're going to come out and whoop them like cornbread batter. I say to the tune of 35-14.
Yeah, I think they're going to. They still have a bad taste in their mouth about and they're tired of this whole why are the Washington Commanders giving us a hard time, and they're due. I think they're due. I don't think that they did everything that they're capable of doing when they beat the Dolphins. They still, had a couple of mistakes, didn't play. There's never a perfect game, but I think they still could have. There's still more in them, and this is a lesser team, and they're jacked up front. They're giving up sacks left and right, and we're sackalicious right now. That's one of your words.
But you also got to know that their coach his cakes on the griddle. So when the cakes on the griddle, it's
I think Rivera's time is up. I think his time is up. I don't think they're on a downward spiral, and I don't think there's much he can do. But they only won 2 games this year, so he's on a downward spiral, and there's not much he can do about it. Magic is one of the owners now. They're gonna fire him. So he's just
when Magic goes on Twitter and says that he saw no passion. I was like, wow, Magic is the nicest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He went on Twitter, took to Twitter. It's like, I didn't see any passion or anything. So, I was like, oh God.
So I'm going to go with 35-10.
Okay.
35-10 Eagles over the Commanders.
Nice.
We'll see. All right, y'all. That's it. We're here on A2D Radio. This is Vetted, Irving Fryar, Hollis Thomas. We're done for the day. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same purpose. Thursday at 5 p.m. right here. A2D Radio on Vetted. Peace out. Go Birds.